This is our second day of our trigonometry applications. Today we're going to look at a spring example, and I believe on the homework that I give you today there's also a tide example. Remember that all of these things are periodic, and so they follow a curve and the curve repeats. So this example, a weight is supported by a spring. The weight rests at 50 centimeters above a tabletop. The weight is pulled down 25 centimeters and released at time t equals 0. This creates a periodic up and down motion. It takes 1.6 seconds for the weight to return to the low position each time. Now, because we don't have the ability to factor in at the level of math that we're doing right now, that spring would eventually fall back to its rest position, you're going to assume no loss of momentum for the spring. Okay, so you're going to assume that this periodic curve is just going to continue exactly the same for as long as the question requests. So first we're going to sketch a graph of the height of the weight above the tabletop against time and write an equation to describe the motion. Just from the diagram, before we even get to the graph, let's look at what do you think the axis of the curve is going to be. Hopefully you can see that this is your midpoint, right? We pulled it down 25 centimeters, and then it's going to go up 25 centimeters above that midpoint. So 50 centimeters is our axis of the curve, and our amplitude is 25. The other thing we can figure out is our K value. It takes 1.6 seconds for the weight to return to the low position, meaning it takes 1.6 seconds for a cycle. So our K value is 225. And now we have said that it's going to start, right? We're going to pull it down and then we're going to release it, and that's t equals 0. There is one cycle graphed, right? So we start at 25 centimeters. The axis of the curve is 50. Our maximum is 75. It takes 0.8 seconds for it to go from 25 centimeters to 75 centimeters, and then 1.6 seconds for a complete cycle. They have not specified what equation they would like. Because we're starting at a minimum, that is a negative cosine curve. So it's easiest to write it as a negative cosine curve because then there is no phase shift, so we do not need a C value. So we will write our equation to describe the motion as a negative cosine curve. So our equation, height is a function of time, or h of t, is equal to negative 25 cosine 225t plus 50. At what time does it reach a height of 60 centimeters above the table? So that means that our height is 60, and we're going to solve for t. Just by putting a horizontal line at the height of 60, you can see that it's going to hit the height of 60 twice in a single cycle. So we will rearrange the formula for cos of 225t. Here is where you need to figure out what the cos of 225t is, not just t. So if it makes more sense to you to replace 225t with theta at this stage, please do so. So we have cos of theta is equal to negative 2 over 5 when we reduce our fraction of 10 over 25. That gives us our x value and our radius, and it is in the quadrants when cosine is negative. But when you do the inverse cos of negative 2 over 5, you get that theta is equal to negative 113.6 or negative 114. And of course it's negative because of the quadrant that it's in. So the angle is actually not negative. It is a positive angle, but it comes up as negative just because it's greater than 90 degrees and because it is in quadrant 2. If you took the inverse cos of positive 2 over 5, you get 66 degrees, which of course is the related angle that goes down between the terminal arm and the x-axis. So we also have that theta will be 114, and the other terminal arm, of course, is in the other place where cosine is negative, which is 246 degrees. And so now we need to take into account the compression factor of 225. And so what we have is we have now shrunk our period so that it is the proper for the equation. And so it means that the time that the spring is going to be at 60 centimeters will be 0.51 seconds and 1.09 seconds into its 1.6 second period or cycle. What is the height of the spring after 22 seconds? So now we're just going to replace t with 22. And so once you replace t with 22, now just do some math and get your height at time of 22. And again, assuming that we have no loss due to friction and our spring is perfect and it's operating in a vacuum, the spring is going to be at 50 centimeters at 22 seconds. Here we have a pendulum question. So a pendulum swings 30 times in a minute. So that means it has a 2-second cycle. The pendulum starts at point A and swings to point B and then back again, and the cycle repeats. The distance from A to B is 1.5 meters. Draw a graph on the horizontal distance from A versus time. Well, what we're going to do first is we're actually going to draw a picture of what this pendulum would look like. That is what the pendulum would look like, if you will. So if the distance between point A and point B is 1.5 meters, it means that the pendulum is going to be 0.75 meters long. We're going to draw the graph of the horizontal distance from A versus time. So that means that we're going to pull this up here to A and graph that versus time. Thinking, remember, that where's the resting point? Well, the resting point would be when the pendulum is at the resting position, which would be vertical between the 2 points. And so that is our, this would be our D value, right? So that's the axis of our curve would be 0.75. And so our maximum, right, is going to be 1.5, and our minimum, if you will, or the distance, of course, between those 2 points. So if we're starting at A and then swinging to B, it means that we're going to be, that we'd start at 0 here and end up 1.5 meters, so our max would be 1.5. So if we're going to draw that graph, means that we're starting at 0, and then we're going to go up past our midpoint and back down to A. Now again here, we're not going to have any reduction in the momentum of the pendulum because of gravity or anything like that. So for you physics kids, we just take physics and we throw it out the window for these questions. So here's our 0.75. We go to a max of 1.5, and our minimum is 0. However, right, we still are starting at a minimum. So it's still a negative cosine curve. Now remember, it takes 2 seconds for our interval to happen. And so that means that our K value is 180. And so now we can make our equation for this graph in part A. So we'll call this distance versus time. And so d of t from point A, presuming that we start at point A, will be negative 0.75 cosine of 180t plus 170. Well, now we'll draw the graph of the horizontal distance of B versus time. So when you think about it, now if we're going from B, when I start at A, I am at the farthest possible place I can be away from A. Because remember, the pendulum starts at A. So now instead of the graph starting at the origin, or at a minimum, the graph is actually going to start at the maximum, and then it's going to go down towards A, and then back to B. It still takes 2 seconds for this to happen, and our curve still bends around 0.75, and still has a max of 1.5 and a min of 0. The equation for this is now a positive cosine curve. And so now everything else is going to stay the same because I still don't have any phase shift. It's just that now my A value will be positive. How far is the pendulum from point A after 146.4 seconds? Remember, there's no loss of the pendulum due to gravity. So this is a straight substitute, 146.4 in for t for my distance equation with respect to A. So that's this equation here. And these are where those coterminal angles come in. This is why we can have a really large number that we're going to take the cosine of, and we still get the same ratio as we did before, and that's because of coterminal angles. So after 146.4 seconds, the pendulum is 0.52 centimeters away from point A. What time is the pendulum 0.7 meters from B? We know that it will be, could be twice. And since the pendulum swings towards B and then swings away from it, I hope you can see that it will have 2 times when it's going to be 0.7 meters from B. So now we need to use the d of t graph that has, it's the positive cosine graph. So that's the equation that we're going to solve. So we'll rearrange for the cos of 180t. And because we don't like decimals and fractions, we'll just reduce that fraction to lowest terms, which would be negative 1 over 15, divide the top and the bottom by 0.05. So what that gives us tells us that it's going to be in quadrants 2 and 3, with x is negative 1 and y is 15. So the negative tells us that it's in quadrants 2 and 3. The inverse cos of 1 over 15, if we looked at positive 1 over 15, it gives us 86, which is our related angle, which means that our terminal angle for here is 94 degrees. And the second terminal angle, of course, is the one that's over here, is 266 degrees. So we know that 180t is 94 and 266. So now to get what t is, or to compress that cycle into a 2-second cycle from a 360-second cycle. So dividing 94 and 266 by 180 gets us 0.52 and 1.48. So we can say, therefore, the pendulum is 0.7 meters from B at 0.52 and 1.48 seconds. And that's it for today. We've got the homework sheet that I gave you the other day. I think I've added more things today. And so there's lots of practice there for you. So try them, and please get in touch with me if you have any questions.